Hello and welcome back to another episode of Put to Practice Cooking. I have a new mic, so if it's a little bit weird, just be warned that, and also a new camera going on because I upgraded my phone. But anyway, we are going to be doing a miso curry from this cookbook. I got it from my aunt for Christmas one year, and to be honest, I made a normal curry from this already before. It was good. I just burned the seasonings, but hopefully this time I don't do that. But yeah, it should be really interesting with all the miso and all the other stuff in it. One thing I am doing it differently is this called for Burdock. I couldn't really find it, and then after I did some research, it's this big long like one that I found at my local Asian market. It requires like 4 ounces of it. I am not like buying that whole thing just for 4 ounces. Even the Daikon that I'm going to be using for it, like big radish, I use like that much. So I'll just probably next time I'll just use something that's not as big for it. Yeah, so my Daikon, as I said, I'm using Daikon. Then I'll be using potatoes as a replacement, as that's what Google and some other people said it could use. So yeah, this one's going to be a bit of a slow burner one because pretty much it's just going to be just tossing everything in here and letting it sit. Once we get to the part where we're just waiting for it to reduce, I will just skip ahead because no one really wants to watch a pot boil, so we'll get to the taste at that point. But anyway, enough talk. Let's get started. All right, so here is all the ingredients we're going to be using. We're using obviously in different stages. This guy, since I have a second to wait for this to warm up, this is going to be tarragon stock mixed with sugar and red and white miso. It says a specific miso, but it says you can just use red and white. And Torigra stock. It's basically just chicken stock. So it just takes 6 cups of that, which you basically put in a blender and blend the sugar and all that together so it's all incorporated. I will say it does not look that appetizing, but obviously that's just the miso making it look kind of funky. So now what we have in here is just some 1 tablespoon of butter and 1 tablespoon of oil. Just going to be melting down in there. And then we have just some beef. It says you can use whatever you want. It even specifically says stew meat or even sirloin if you want to get really fancy with it. But I just did stew meat because it was, to be honest, it was on sale. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Just seasoned it with some salt and pepper. Specifically, it was a half tablespoon of salt, I think. Yeah, a teaspoon and some half teaspoon and whatnot. So all good. So now we got the butter melting, and so our next part is going to be the being putting the beef in, and we're going to make sure it's browned on all the sides. After that, we'll just start putting one thing after the other. Okay, so that's good. So next thing we're going to be doing is putting in our onions and garlic. That cook for about 2 minutes-ish. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do something real quick that's going to probably just save me some headache. Okay, since we're having all that, I'm afraid it's not going to work, so... Okay. Oh, I just burned an onion on top of that. Well, that's going to be a nice smoky smell for a little while. Anyway, so we are going to be doing this for a bit because I have all this liquid and all that. I just feel and it's also curry, so it's kind of like a big soup pot thing anyway. So you live and you learn kind of thing. So it's all good. Won't be able to see it as much, but I'll show how it's going every little bit. So okay. Next thing we're going to do is add in our carrots and our daikon. We're going to do this for 30 seconds. Just open up a window. Okay, next thing we're doing is the burdock, but in this case, potatoes. Another 30 seconds. Okay, so now we're adding in our curry powder, or at least part of it. That's going to be 3 tablespoons of it. Yeah, We're going to stir that around for another 30 seconds. All right, so now for the flour, same thing, right? Yeah. Another 30 seconds. Okay, now we're going to be putting in our wine. And we're going to stir that for another 30 seconds. All right, so now we are going to be putting in the entirety of our stock. Pour that right in there. Put all that in there, kind of now looks like Japanese curry, so that's good. So now we're going to be stirring this, and once it comes to a boil, we're going to then let it simmer for about 45 minutes. Once we get to that point, I'll skip ahead and explain what we have to do next. Actually, never mind. So yeah, so as I said, we're going to wait for this to boil. Once it gets to boil, we're going to simmer for 45 minutes. Or until the liquid's about half of what it was. After that point, we're going to be putting in our remainder of our some black pepper and some curry powder, and then after that, it's all done. We'll simmer for another 15 minutes more after that, so it'll just get all extra incorporated. Since, as I said, we don't want to take forever for this, but you can see the curry like that. Looks pretty good so far, but I will show you the plating process a bit so you can see it just before I do it. So see you at that point. Well, we are back. Sorry I skipped the plating. I guess it was fine. Didn't really reduce that much. I don't know what I did wrong, but I think it will probably thicken up once it becomes leftover. So just kind of called it a day, but I think it turned out pretty well. So I gotta have about a half moon of rice and some stuff. So let's just go with the the curry itself first. Definitely very good flavor. Definitely a lot of spice because of the extra pepper and curry at the end. But how much it mellows out. See how it mellows out with bringing up some rice with it. This is some good stuff. Well, it definitely warms you up, definitely. So be wary of that. I mean, I don't know, but to be honest, the extra 2 teaspoons and the black pepper could be ignored if you're not really that big of a fan of spice, because it is a little overpowering, but I still think it's pretty good. So I still call this a win. Haven't had curry in a bit, so this definitely is a pleasant thing to have. But hope you have a good rest of your day, and hope your miso curry turns as good as mine. Thank you.